Okay, welcome back everybody to a Muffins with Morgan. Um, I have a muffin today. Brittany also brought a muffin too, so we're ready. We're ready to go. We're ready to go with the muffins. This this is a blueberry muffin, but it kind of doesn't look like one, so I don't know what I'm gonna get today. I'm gonna be honest. I went somewhere else to get my muffin because the other place was closed. So we're gonna see what this is about. But in the chat, as you all come in, we'll give it about 2 minutes because I know people are coming from call to call. Let us know where are you tuning in from today, and then also let us know if you have been on other Muffins with Morgan before. If this is your third time, second time, or first time, let us know in the chat. But we will start off asking people, where are you tuning in from? Where are you at? Brittany, where are you tuning in from? Where are you at?
Yeah, good question. I'm in Seattle. It's been so mild from a winter perspective, which I kind of love. I don't love all the rain, but it's almost spring and I cannot wait.
Mm, I feel that. I feel that. Well, it's like the opposite here because I'm in Arizona.
Ah,
So
yep.
so now yeah, Rick knows I'm getting nervous now because it's like 102.
Yeah, I feel
And
like you guys are getting a heat wave early, and I used to live in Phoenix, so I know how much that gets insane real fast.
yeah, I mean the thing is like there are worse things in life, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, it's getting hot early. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. Uh
Absolutely. Florida, I can't do the humidity. Don't ask me to move anywhere where there's humidity. The last place I was at was DC, and it was just not, I can't. And I know that's nothing compared to Florida. Just can't do it.
yeah, I born and raised Atlanta, so I'm the same. The humidity is absolutely terrible. For those of you who live out, I mean, West Palm, I just
Mhm.
couldn't do it. So now when I'm out here and it's like 95 degrees and it's dry heat, it's like chill. Like I'm cool with it. I'm like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
be all right.
I can't, however, I used to be fine. I used to climb Camelback Mountain at like 115 degrees, no big deal. However, now that I don't live there anymore, I realize that you really do acclimate to it. Last summer, I went and was like, "Ugh, it's not going to be a big deal." I
Yeah.
got my butt handed to me. It was so hot. I was dying and I don't usually complain, but oh my gosh, I just can't. I can't do the summer heat.
It's wild. It's wild.
Oh,
Uh,
Lisa.
Hey, shout out to Mesa. Yeah, I've been to Mesa multiple times. But yeah, it's the weather is the weather. But I appreciate everybody coming in here. We appreciate your time. We'll get started here. I know today, what is the topic? What are we discussing? So, Brady and I have had like multiple conversations, and one thing that we've been talking about often is how everything, I mean, you all know, is like completely different than obviously was in the past. There's more AI. It's more difficult to get in front of people. It's more difficult to get them to respond, right? It's just harder. And so, because of that, I wanted to bring Brittany on because she is a sales leader. She has sales experience. She's been a sales rep. And I wanted to talk to her about like what she's seeing with the teams that she's worked with, what she actually replies to in the DMs. So what I'm going to ask for you all today, for everyone's here, is to ask questions. I want this to be very conversational today. If you've been here before, like that's what we do. Just keep it very conversational. But today, really ask your questions because you have someone here that is a leader and gets, on my assumption, probably hundreds of sales messages a week. So this is the time to ask questions. We can ask questions amongst ourselves as sellers, but if you have a leader in the room, this is where you can ask questions on like, what do you actually respond to? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So without any further ado, let's get into it. And the thing that I'm really going to be diving into today is not only like how we can think about outbound differently, but also how can we think about sales differently as well. But what I'll do is I'll hand it off to Brittany to introduce herself. We already know where she's tuning in from, but also Brittany, if you want to give us a fun fact, and we'll get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Britni Borrelli. Just like Traco last week, he is the only one. I am also the only Britni Borrelli in the world. So if you go look for Britni Borrelli on any social media, it'll be me. At least my last name now is easy to say. My last name was Freiboth, impossible to spell and to pronounce if you weren't German. Um, But I'm a VP of global sales. I love operationalizing as much of the sales experience as possible. I did that as a sales leader, and doing that more from a revenue architecture piece of it at these days. And so really excited to dig in to think about how we help and support our sales teams into the future. I'm one of those people that likes to think 5 to 7 steps ahead. So why are we trying to solve for 2026 when we should really be solving for 2030? Um, Fun fact, and I'm going to age myself, but it's my favorite fun fact. I lived in Germany when the Berlin Wall fell. So
Wow.
goes to whoever knows what year that was. But I do, when it was not illegal, have a piece of the Berlin Wall. And when I went back, I was young, obviously, but when I went back, it was just one of those really incredible things that I was there when I was 4 to 7. You don't think you remember much. Nope, not 86. But it it was really cool how much I remembered. Heidelberg was one of my favorite places. That like the castle and the grass and like it was just, I loved it.
Wow.
My favorite place
Okay.
ever.
Is it 89? So I put 89 in the chat.
9. It's 89.
Shout out to Thomas. We have no prize for you except congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
Go get
That's my
yourself a
fun fact.
go get yourself a muffin on us. Congrats, Thomas. That is an incredible experience. I went to Berlin for the first time for the Euro Cup,
All right.
and I went to they were playing in the Coliseum.
Yep.
That was like the most incredible experience ever. I was like, I actually am ruined because I really don't enjoy live sports anymore because I saw the Euro Cup. I don't know if I've been to the Euro Cup in chat, but like
There's yeah.
it's
There's
so
nothing like live sports in Europe and especially in Germany. It's anything in Germany is just on another level. I mean, I'm not a super hardcore partier, but man, I'll go and do anything and experience anything. And I luckily had a local friend because you will get treated differently as a local versus a tourist.
true.
And they got texted that there was a party happening under a random bridge at East Berlin, and we ended up going. And it was a dance party, like, and we had to, we had to scatter when the police came up. Like, how crazy is that? I don't do shit like that. I don't know if I can swear, but um, yeah, I just love Germany so much and Berlin for sure. Uh,
Wow. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I'm now reflecting on the Euro Cup. If y'all have not been to the Euro Cup, we're gonna get into the material, I promise. But if you've not been to the Euro Cup, you should absolutely go. It is the most incredible experience ever. And just as Brittany said, Germany, Berlin, that area is so cool. Like there's so many historic things you can go check out. 2028 Euro Cup. If you're gonna go, I'll see you there. I'll see you there. I'm already bought in, already got everything. I'm already locked in.
Because there's so much history and castles and things that I don't
That's
know if
cool.
you lived in Phoenix or Arizona, and I think it was 2012 or 2013, but they had their centennial then, around then, like 100 years old Arizona. Germany would laugh at that. So
It's interesting. Interesting times. Thank you for sharing, Brittany. So, if this is your first time or you've been a supporter for a long time, I'm Morgan Ingram. I have 10 years, a decade of experience in outbound. I started off as an SDR. I've been an SDR manager. Some of you in here probably follow John Barrows. I used to work there as a full-time trainer. So that's where all my experience is coming from. Now I run a company called Amp Social. Our main focus is making sales more human in the AI world. So the stuff that you've seen us talk about in these Muffins and Morgans around video prospecting, cold calling, conversational skills, in-person relationships. I go inside of B2B companies and help BDR and AE teams get better at conversational skills so they can book more meetings. So we got Brittany here today. We're going to talk about outbound. And before we do that, there's two things. One is I know you're going to ask, you will get the recording after. There will be an email that'll be sent after this. If for some reason, sometimes people don't get it because it's in spam or whatever, just hit me up and ask for it and we'll send it to you. But you will get the recording. And then also, as we're hanging here, we got to know who is actually in the room today. So I'm going to throw up a poll and we're going to see what roles are we looking at today and what's going on. Please, everyone, answer this poll because we want to make sure that we tailor the conversation towards you based on the role that you're in. All right. So this is incredibly important that you fill this out so we can tailor it towards you. So the first thing that I want to ask you, Brittany, and again, y'all, like this is the time to ask questions. We're gonna dive into some strategies and some things that we're seeing. So far as I'm looking at this poll, most of the people in this room are you got AE SDRs and sales leaders in the room. So all of you right now are most likely trying to outbound and get more meetings. Now, when it comes to outbound in the chat, how do you all currently feel about it? This is a safe space. So you can answer honestly, because if you say, "Oh, everything's great," like I'm gonna kind of look at you side eye to be honest with you. But like,
Yeah.
answer honestly. Like, how do you feel about outbound right now? Are you like, I feel like this is the worst thing ever. Like, I'm starting to get a hang of it. I don't know where to go. Like, let's have an honest conversation around where people are at. And Brittany, I'm gonna ask you, how are you feeling about outbound today versus maybe say in 2016? What are the differences? What are things that people should maybe be hopeful for? I don't want it to be a doom and gloom, but like, what is your current take on outbound? I know we talked a lot about this behind the scenes, so let's bring it to life.
I mean, it's so funny. How do you feel about Outbound? A lot of people feel like it's dying, and it is absolutely different than what it was in 2016. And I think the hard part for SDRs and AEs is they likely have leaders who were really successful in Outbound 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, and it's just so different. It does not work the same way. I used to send out 1,000 emails and I build an opportunity book of over $1 million, like easy, no big deal.
Mm.
Um, it wasn't that easy, but it still worked. Now, every single one of those are going to go to spam. You likely will get zero replies if you send out 1,000. And so you just have to be more creative, and the world is going to change. And so you just have to think again, 5, 10 steps ahead. How are buyers changing? Where are they at? Where are they getting all of their information? Where do they feel like they trust the information that's coming to them? And who are you as an AE or an SDR in what you're sharing? I mean, if I had some random person reaching out to me and it looks like it's, hi, I'm not going to respond. I really do seriously get tens, if not hundreds a day. And I will look and see like all of the different messages in LinkedIn. I get kind of backed up every once in a while, but um, those that look like they actually want to have a real conversation with me rather than it's for business or it's for a very specific kind of angle, I just am not going to respond to it. I just don't have time. But if somebody wants coaching or wants my opinion or wants to understand how do you feel about this thing, shoot, I'll get on a call any day. And you probably, if you are going to try to sell me on something, if you get me on a call to ask for my opinion or to ask for my feedback and then somehow change me, good for you. That's the angle that you have to do these days. It's not the same as 2016. Um,
No.
it shouldn't be because otherwise everybody else would do sales. Sales is hard. Not everybody got it.
I wanna call out some people. Jocelyn, I believe you're saying your name right. I mean, this is how most people I work with how they feel right now when we run them through our Sales Team 6 program. Lots of carrots building. And I'll be real, even for me, it's character building because like I'm like, oh, this worked like 3 years ago, and I'm like, I can't do that anymore. So I've even tried to been like, okay, I have to think about things differently if I'm being transparent because like it's like not the same, but it's not to say that like it's not possible because it is. I think it's just like not the same. So carrots are building, Jim saying harder and harder. Sam saying he's trying to get over the hump of video outbound. Sam, talk to us more about that. What over the hump, like just doing it, like what's going on there? We have no one likes getting a cold call. People never did, but it seems like no one does. Yeah, Jacob, it's pretty interesting. Like, I feel like it's also the data is harder because people are now hybrid. They're not in the office as much, so it's harder to catch people, and that's just the reality. But I think, yeah, people are resistant to just. I think people are just resistant to conversations in general now. Like, people just don't want to talk. So. Let's dive into that. So let's talk to everyone right now in the chat. I'm going to ask you all if you had, I know we said it's tough and difficult, but you're still doing your job. So what is the channel that you're getting the most meetings on right now? In the chat, let us know. And Brittany, I want to ask you because you just brought it up. We were talking about how there is a lot of AI slop and it's very difficult, and you're getting a lot of messages. So let's just say in the past 12 months, when you actually have responded or you liked a message, what did they do differently than everyone else? And then how can you tell when someone has done an AI message?
Yeah. I mean, the tells are there. The tells can be pretty easy. If you've got M dashes in there, like I'm automatically going to delete it. Um, I think some have started being more like themselves and being more casual. If it's like super, super casual, it's like I don't think you are serious enough to actually talk to me. So there's this fine line between being formal and being way too casual. That you have to, at least for me, and this is my perspective, my opinion, everybody is different. I like what Jacob said, where he's like, it depends on the ICP. Every salesperson is getting hit up a bajillion times every single day. But I have found that if I want to go talk to somebody in product, or if I want to go talk to somebody in legal, or someone outside of your like normal go-to-market team, like sales and marketing, they'll pick up the phone. I've talked to so many CPOs recently, like they all want to pick, they're like, sure, you want to talk to me? Um, so if you think about the different types of people you want to reach out to, and that's a big, big thing. Now, when it comes to AI, I think a big part of it is how formalized does it look? Like, does it look super robotic? But also, if you just want to sell me something, like it is just buyers are so much more informed, so much more aware. I probably know a lot about your, like sometimes honestly even more than a lot of the SDRs that I've chatted with. And it's because like I am super inundated in AI, and
Yeah.
every big sales product right now has AI. Now, if somebody wants to reach out to me and say, "Hey, I've seen you've been a successful sales leader," like I would love to get your take on like how are you talking to this type of persona, or how are you thinking about outbound differently now? I will take that call every time. I love coaching. In fact, I was talking to Morgan before this about a conversation I had yesterday with someone who is a first-time sales leader, and she's like, I was a really successful enterprise person, but I have no idea what I'm doing as a frontline high velocity salesperson. I'll take that call every day. So, and that's what I was saying earlier is if you can get into someone's motivations and what they enjoy and what you can tell they're posting on LinkedIn or on a podcast or something else, you can really get to understand that. And we've got LLMs. Like you could probably go and ask about certain people, like certain executives, because you got to go high. Don't go super low, especially if you're trying to get to somebody. They're all human, but
Mhm.
you can go and ask, what is their personality based on what I'm seeing on this LinkedIn page, based on what you can find in podcasts and how they speak to hosts. Like, what do you think they would be motivated by? And that gives you, it's such an easy question to ask like any LLM. I would say Claude is the best. So if you are willing to go there, go there. But any of them will likely work. And then tailor your message based on that because you're getting to the heart of the human. And because AI is so prevalent, it's like robots everywhere. If you want to be human, which is your unique characteristic about you, that's where people are going to respond so much more than if you just, let Superhuman write all your content.
So I wanna highlight one thing that you said there. I think that's very important is when you all use AI, and I'm also not anti-AI, but I've been thinking about this a lot as of late, is I think that it's easy to use AI for 20 different things and it does nothing. So I think that what you just said there, Brittany, that I want to highlight for everyone is use AI to then look at maybe execs that have had interviews and then pull out those, things that can be unique. Obviously, everyone you go after isn't going to have that though, but if you can go inside of AI and say, hey, here are the people that I'm looking to get in front of. Can you show me these, 3 to 5 things? I think that will be huge in terms of getting the right insights information. Now, I want to go into what Melody said here, and she was like, "Hey, I have the best open rates with asking AI to add humor, but still no responses." So I really like that method that Melody has But actually, that kind of leads into my point, which is like, okay, what if someone doesn't post? What if someone has no content? What if they have no interviews, right? I know maybe some people in here, you'd probably go after like CISOs or data or CTOs, and like it's just like nothing's happening. It's not working. So if that's the case, right, and nothing is happening and it's not working, then the question becomes, what do we do? Right? So what messaging or or not even messaging, how should people be thinking about reaching out to people if they cannot find that?
Um, yeah, procurement. Oh, procurement's like a whole nother breed of human.
They are.
They're my favorite because if I can win them over, then like I've dominated. Like that's my like check plus, like you're doing great. Um, but I would say take a note out of John Barrow's cap. He used to have, and I'm sure he has something like it, a spreadsheet that he would build every single year around what motivates a CEO and what motivates a CTO in these different type of industries. And if they don't have that type of content, there is plenty of content out there that from reputable sources. So I always make sure if you're going to do any research on AI, you say reputable sources. Otherwise, it'll just pull any random shit that it can find. But what are the biggest challenges that a CTO or procurement or someone else is dealing with right now? And what are they probably trying to solve for this
Yep.
year, for the next 5 years, and get high level information? And, something that I used to find helpful is, hey, and you can't say it like this because I feel like that's everybody uses it like this, but it's like, hey, I was talking with so and so person the other day, and they were saying that this is an opportunity or an experience or a problem they're trying to solve. Is that something you're trying to solve too? And ultimately, and for me, this is how I would ask it. And ultimately, the reason I'm asking you is I'm just trying to pull a few different people that I respect or see in the market that likely have a voice or likely have an opinion. I'd love to get your opinion. Did I say anything about the company that I work for, or did I say any pitch about what I want to really get out of the call? Absolutely not. If you share anything that is an inkling of salesy, you will get sniffed out immediately. And if you really do want a conversation with those people, the way that I have found the most success is through the networking piece. It's through different conversations that are really human because people are looking for human connection. And yes, it does not scale. So yes, you have to make sure that you're trying to reach out to the right people. But that is truly the way to get to the right people. And you obviously don't want to do it to people that are below the line. You want to do it to people above the line because at the end of the day, those are the people that are going to make the decisions. But the more that you ask for their opinion, their feedback, you could say, hey, I've been doing a lot of research on procurement, and this is the thing that I'm finding is the most relevant topic to them. Like, would you agree? And I would even say, I have no other um uh you know side thoughts on this, or I'm literally not trying to sell you. I just want your opinion. Um, because at the end of the day, if you have that conversation and they start to build trust, that's the biggest thing is trust, because trust is
Yeah.
hard. And if you can build that trust, maybe you can then turn that conversation into potentially a sales conversation. But otherwise, it's practically impossible.
So let's talk about that. We were, Jacob said, how do you convert those converts into meetings and deals? I want to actually, well, let's dive into the question because I have a follow-up to something different, but like, let's stay where we're at. So
Yeah.
Jacob asked, how do you convert those combos into meetings and deals? We'll go from there.
Well, it's that one is so fun because I'll just say, hey, this is some of the information I'm thinking of right now. I'd love to just spitball with you, or I'd love to learn more from you. And I'll even like be super transparent and really vulnerable and just say, hey, I've been in sales and I've been in sales leadership for a really long time, but I only know what I know. And I would love to understand your side of the house. Like I would love to understand what obstacles you're running into and what is the bullshit you have to deal with. And honestly, I'm sure you hate sales. Like we all hate salespeople,
Yeah. Yeah.
in some way, shape, or form. So like I just want to be a partner to those type of people that I'll be working with in the future, and I'd love to get your take. And especially if you just share with people that you want their opinion and it really is all about them and making them, feel like they are the coolest thing that's ever happened, you'll get those calls. I get them all the time. I probably get them 8 out of 10 times. Now, I understand that I have a decent presence, not clearly not like Morgan, but I've got a decent presence on LinkedIn. I share content, like I've been around the block. So there is a difference between someone with experience versus someone who's an SDR, but you can have a presence. It doesn't matter what where you've been and what your experience is. You could say, hey, I'm just getting into sales. I don't know what I want to do. And if I want to get into this, or if I'm maybe more interested in product. I'd love to understand your journey and your experience. And I bet you will get those calls almost every single time. Truly. And it sounds silly and it doesn't sound salesy, but that's why you'll get those calls.
Jacob, follow up on you. Did that help answer your question? If it did not, you can follow up in here as well. And everybody else, continuously throw in your questions here. I want to take what you said earlier, Brittany, as well, around like use leveraging your internal people. I know we talked about this behind the scenes we talked about the F1 and how I don't know if anyone also I haven't seen I think Brad Pitt's in it. I haven't seen the F. Have you seen it?
I have not. And I
I've
really
heard
want
it's an
to.
elite movie. I don't know if y'all seen it in the chat, but like everyone tells me it's a great movie and I need to see it. So like it's on the list. But anyways, my point is that if you have heard F1 or you watched the movie or you've been to it, whatever, they obviously they have a support team, right? They have all these people that make sure that the movie, right? Or not the movie, that the car is being efficient. And one thing I've seen in the work I've done with especially AE teams, SDRs can still leverage this, but AE teams, when we go in and do our sales team six program, what I've seen is that like yes, there's obviously ways to reach out cold, but we all know it's just harder and tougher due to trust. And I think people just trust things less for an array of different reasons. We could go into that, but we know there's a lot of reasons why. So leveraging customers, internal execs, and getting referrals is key. So, Brittany, I kind of want to flip that to you is when we think about the F1 concept, when we think about even outbound, I don't think outbound is just cold. It's like I'm just outbounding to get a meeting. So I do that however I need to. So for people that are in the room that are leaders, AEs, even to a level SDRs, what would you give them advice on to start thinking about referrals and how to leverage people internally to book meetings? Because I don't think this is done enough.
Oh, I would agree. And I don't think that people did it enough even 10 years ago. And could take this in two different ways. So you've got your F1 team. You could be the best driver that there ever was, but if you don't have your techs and your tire changers and your all, I cannot even pretend to know that I know anything about cars. But isn't the story of cars? Yes. If you don't have all the people, your whole entire army to help make sure that you are the leading F1 racing champion, you're not going anywhere. You're just going to stay on the track moving nowhere. It's the very same thing in sales. And so the interesting thing about that is you've got to build your army internally and externally. And if you don't, you're not going to get anywhere. Now, in relation to the networking piece of it, there are companies like ORBB, that essentially are building a way for you to understand like what's the warmest way to get to someone. And
Mm.
I think the more that you think about your network and build that network and build those relationships externally, you're going to find that is honestly the strongest network or the strongest opportunity. And there's actually, I believe, research from this. Scott Leese has definitely talked a lot about it, where if you get that warm connection from someone that you know, those opportunities are stickier, they will grow faster, and they will stay longer because you have this like innate relationship with somebody. And if you just go and talk to some Joe Schmo somewhere and you get that deal, great, but there's not any skin in the game. And so now we're all going to go do that. So, no shade there, but
Yeah.
you are building that network and you are intentionally also making sure that you're not just taking, you're not just asking always, hey, can you connect me here? Can you connect me here? Because that gets boring and obnoxious because we don't have time to always connect. But if you're giving something back to people, that network is definitely going to help you. Not only in just your own knowledge and your own success, but hopefully you then can, pay that back and help someone else be successful too. So from uh, F1 racing team to just being knowledgeable. And I always talked about it as a sales leader, like go build your army. Like, and I would say that internally, go find people in product, go find people on the engineering side, go find people in marketing and go have those conversations with them because actually used to get insider information as a frontline leader before some of the other executives because I was super close with lots of different people. Um, and I was just real with them. And I just wanted to understand, like, what my favorite question, what is the most annoying thing about salespeople? And they always laugh. And I love that because someone here was also saying they add humor. But I'm like, but truly, because for me, my motivation, my intention is I don't want to be that person. And if I ask them a question that there's a Slack channel somewhere that's like the stupid shit salespeople do, it's there.
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
lean into it.
yeah,
Um, you're going to build these like even internal champions that will help you be successful. And I found a lot of success with leaning on people that were not your normal people to lean on, but I had product, and this was a 5,000 person company. Like I had no business as an AE talking to somebody that was like our CPO. But then again, I did because I was curious and they gave me the time. Um, and that's the thing I would tell all of you, no matter what level you are or how new you are in sales, like be curious and be authentically you. And man, it doesn't matter what title it is. They'll give you time if you are asking authentically for their opinion and their feedback, or, even just flippantly saying, God, what is the thing that annoys you the most? Because I want to make sure I don't do that.
yeah. No, I mean that I absolutely love that. And it's crazy because we're already at the halfway mark. And at this point, we always ask, like, has this been helpful and impactful for you so far? Let us know in the chat. If anything you're hearing so far you have questions on, now also, again, is the time to ask those questions, put them in the chat or the Q&A. But let us know if this has been helpful. And I think there should be more roundtables around asking buyers on like what they find helpful or what they, maybe receiving, like, hey, like how can I stand out? I think those are really, really good questions to be asking buyers so that you know how to show up and do what you need to do at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I hope somebody says that no, this is not helpful. Like I want you to go deeper. Like somebody just give it to us. Or if we are just like the best there ever was, then damn, we've done our job.
It's
But
a little
I know someone out there is like, well, no, challenge us. I welcome any opinions. And so you talk about what are some other ways to build trust with prospects, especially the cold outbound. Um, the networking piece is huge. Being authentically you, isn't it? I love the little thumbs up.
yeah.
And I know people say that all the time, but I still get scrolled by it. Um, what are some other ways? Like show up where they show up. I mean, there's lots of different things, especially post-COVID, where people are having conversations with others and executives or CPOs, or like they're getting together in these small little groups of people. I just went to a AI tinkerers meeting here in Seattle, and I really had no business being there. I am dangerous as a salesperson in AI, but I am not dangerous in coding and anything else. But dang, it was really cool to see how people are thinking about it and how they're, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
go show up where the type of persona is, even if you have no reason to be there except to learn and go soak it up. Because then you can authentically have, again, a conversation with those people like, hey, I was actually just at this thing where I got to learn a lot about what your peers are going through. Like, and that just builds so much trust. And don't use M dashes. don't reach out 700 times. I've got some like LinkedIn messages like, this is my 10th time I'm reaching out to you. Like, are you not, are you too busy to talk to me? And all I want to say is yes. And like, I
See
don't
ya.
want you. The other that I have seen these really cool videos that people have shared, and sometimes the videos come off as like it's obviously a sales video. I do love when someone gives me a little bit of a synopsis and reading, like in the writing before or after the video, because I want to know, like, what am I getting into in the next 30 seconds? If it's a sales pitch, I'm not going for it. But if it's like, if it's somebody's opinion or someone's view on something, maybe it's about their product, maybe it's not, like I'll dig into that. So again, it's the trust built is just don't be so damn salesy. Like we used to be so salesy and people just would take that hook, line, and sinker. And I know that you are probably a bit between a rock and a hard place because so many sales leaders had success 10 years ago. And those are the people leading companies right now that are really pushing and are like, where's your outbound? Where are the conversion rates? Like, what the hell are y'all doing? And I think that can definitely be a hard place to be. But being very aware that the world is so different, but still not making it an excuse that like it's just it's dying, like it's not there, and then not calling. Can't do that. You got to be creative and share the creative wins. You also build trust with your teams internally.
So we got some questions in, asking examples, unique ways. I'll share my screen on like just kind of tactically what Brittany is talking about and just how y'all can think about it. I will say like obviously at the end of the day, like there's gonna be there's gonna be different ways on how you want to approach this, but I'm literally just gonna share what I literally did. When was this? Monday? So this week. This didn't lead into a meeting. There's another one that did, but I just want y'all to see both examples to like just get you to think. I'm not saying that you need to do like 50,000 voice notes a day or things of that nature, but the way that and what Brittany's articulating is just thinking about how you want to approach it. But I'm going to show this example and then I'll explain like why you should think this way. So the thing that I've been doing as of late, I'll share my screen real quick. Hold on. I don't want it to do that. All right. So, all right, cool. So I'm gonna pull up this right here. I'll pull up James, and this didn't lead into a meeting, but like, and I can play it out loud, whatever. But my point is that I'm gonna show you this is that I've been trying something different, and Brittany can also say like, this is a terrible way of doing things, which is fine. We're having a conversation, but the way I've been doing things as of late is this is a longer voice note than what I normally do, if I'm being honest. But what I'm now doing is this voice message, and I'll play it in a minute. I just want y'all to just listen, hear me out real quick. The voice message and how I lead it is I point something out that is like personal to them, that is like that's real. So for example, James lives in Denver. In a couple weeks, I'm gonna go see Wiz Khalifa at Red Rocks, which I'm so excited about.
Awesome.
It's gonna be incredible. So shout out if you're a Wiz Khalifa fan. So I started out the voice note like that, being like, "Hey James, the reason for my voice note, actually no, real quick, something I want to tell you. I'm coming to Denver in a couple weeks. I'm going to Red Rocks, and that's why you see Wiz Khalifa there. I'm going to Red Rocks, and like it's gonna be a great time. Anyways, like, and then I went into the reason, and I did go into, you could say it was a pitch, but the way I do pitches is I just treat it as if I was like talking to you, being like, hey, here's something I'm seeing. Here's a couple of things I'm seeing in your business. Like, I don't even know if this is even relevant, but like, if it is, let's chat. So, like, I'm basically what I do is I take pressure away from the situation. Like, I'm still saying, like, what Brittany's talking about, being like, we should talk about it, but also like, I'm not pressed about it. Like, I think that's the thing that I think everyone here you have to think about is it's different where it's like before you could literally just be like, I want to meet, I want to meet, I want to meet, and like it would work. Now I'm just like, hey, here's something I'm seeing. I think we could meet, but I mean, I don't know. Like, and so I'm taking pressure off of the situation when I do this. So I'll
You're
play this out loud. Oh, yo,
I'm saying you're also being vulnerable. Like you're hedging, like you're you're pulling back in the sense of like, hey, if I did a shitty job here, then just let me know. And it's okay to tell me that that's the case. And I think people appreciate if you act vulnerable because people just aren't that way at all anymore. And so I think that's another, it's one of those tactics that works really well is like, hey, tell me about your feedback. I really do want your feedback. That's why after you said it's the halfway mark, I'm like, I really do actually want your real feedback. Like, I know people say that, but if this is not landing, like, please tell me so I can shift in the moment. And I think when you give people that, and I know I've said it a million times being authentic, but if you give people a real vibe about really wanting their feedback and you sort of just like hand it to them, like, hey, if I
Yeah.
did the job, like, let me know. I think people respond to that too.
100%. So I want to see if it's this.
James, reason for my
Can y'all hear that?
Yeah.
All right, everybody else? Cool. One person's like, I can't hear. Okay, thumbs up. So I see. Okay, so this is what I did live. We'll see what I talked about.
voice note is I believe we interacted with each other when I came into Sumo Logic years ago. So looks like you are now the director. So congratulations to you. And also, I'm coming to Denver out in the next couple weeks. I'm going to see Wiz Khalifa at the Red Rocks. So super random, but thought I share if you're going to that. But the real reason I'm reaching out is I was just doing some, browsing on Sales Nav, and looks like that you are bringing in a new manager over the team. And typically, when I see people bringing in a new manager, that means that the team is going to grow out even more. And as the team grows, you're probably looking for creative ways to break through the noise and get into accounts. I've been working with people on a 45-day program because I've seen a lot of people running up against obstacles on how do we leverage LinkedIn? How do we get our people on the phones more? That's what I come in and help do to increase reply rates. So curious if you'd be open to a conversation about that. If not, completely cool. At least thought I asked.
All right, so Brittany,
Love that.
would
I
you
love that.
would no, you can't just say that. Like, would you actually respond to that?
Yeah,
Everybody else in the
yeah.
chat.
I'm gonna
Uh,
try. I'll tell you why. What I love about it is that you're so real and you're just being you and you giggle when you're like, I'm gonna be at Red Rocks. Like you're not just like, and I'm gonna be at Red Rocks. Cool. Like you are just being you, and I really love that. Um, and to me, I probably respond like, hey, I'm trying to figure out what's going on within my own team. But yes, we are expanding. So like good on you for doing the right research. I'd probably say, hey, I'd love to learn a little bit more about like what are you doing? So I'd respond in that sense. And I think it was AJ. There's somebody, and I don't have the chat up, so I'm just going to spitball, but someone said or mentioned that they get really awkward in having these non-sales pitchy like messages. If you feel it's awkward, it's awkward. And call it out. Hey, this is AJ. Like, I'm sure this is awkward. It's awkward for me too, but I'm reaching out because XYZ. Just call, like I was saying with Morgan earlier around, just calling out, hey, did that work or did that not? Just call it like it is. And I used to do that with salespeople too, where I could hear if they were aligned with me or they won't. And I would just I'd say, hey, like I just want to roll back the conversation really quickly. I'm perceiving and I'm picking up that something isn't landing. And I do this when people were either like feisty with me or it felt like they were not walking the path with me.
yeah,
I just call it straight up. And that also builds trust because, and I would say, hey, this is my perception. Here's what I'm picking up. And it feels like to me, you're um either you don't trust me or there's some type of external thing happening here and I just want to understand because person to person I just want to understand like where's your head at. And man, would I like become a therapist in that moment. I've had people that were like, I'm in the middle of a divorce and or I'm in the middle of like fighting for my job, or I'm so sorry. I am actually being really fussy with you because I'm like this. I hate salespeople. I'm like, God, I get it. Like, I totally get it. But
yeah,
like, you just call, if you can call it out and you notice it, um, and take a moment. This is the thing, and take the moment to actually call it out. And I would say 9 times out of 10, I was right. And those 1 times that I was wrong, I'm like, hey, man, okay, my perception was wrong. But I'm glad that we had this conversation and I can, shift my brain somewhere else. They still appreciate that I was trying to notice these like little nuances. um, that it really does build trust in that moment. And those were some of while some of them were some like originally heated conversations, we were able to have more professional conversations post that because you just call
Yeah.
it.
No, I love that. I appreciate you sharing that. And my hope is that's helpful for other people as well, that perspective, and that you can take that in the chat. If I have another one, if y'all want to see another voicemail, let us know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. I'm not gonna keep sharing voice notes if nobody cares, but like I've sent a good amount of them. But yeah, if y'all want more in the chat, just let me know. But I think that's the thing is that like it's also like you have to become unbothered. I don't know the best way to say that. Like, I'm very unbothered. Like, and I'm just gonna send this out and like if it happens, like it's cool. And if it doesn't, like it kind of is what it is. I don't know how to explain it. That's just how I've become that's just how I've become over time.
I also love that for so many different reasons because I used to, especially as a new salesperson, I was looking at, I was at Tableau. So we had dashboards on TV. So
Yeah.
I knew exactly where I was, which was at the bottom when I was new. And I hated that, but I just kept looking at the dashboard. And when I started and one of our executives was like, stop weighing the damn pig, just feed the pig. If you feed the pig is going to grow. And I really loved that analogy of like, stop looking at, I literally stopped looking at dashboards, even as an executive salesperson. I didn't look at dashboards if I could. Obviously, I had a forecast, so I did have to look at numbers at some point. But
Yeah.
I stopped caring about that, and I was putting the energy and intention and the things that I knew that was going to get us to our number, and that actually helped me be successful because I stopped worrying about weighing the dang thing. And the more that you shift from that anxiety of like caring so much about what people think and caring so much about doing everything right. Like you obviously need to care and you obviously need to make sure that you are growing and learning. But when you take the chip off your shoulder or the edge off and just go be you and just remember that like you're all very unique and different. Like don't yes, sales is like 99% stolen and 1% your flavor, but like lean into that 1%. Um so like everything that we're sharing isn't going to land with every single person or every single region or every single, sales group. You just have to find what works for you and what works for your territory and what works for your buyers. And it will shift. I mean, it will shift from quarter to quarter, year to year. You just have to keep thinking creatively. That doesn't mean you have to come up with something new every time.
No.
It's make sure you do rinse and repeat and you try those same things maybe multiple times a year because it really just depends on the time of year. But anyway, I'll get off my soapbox on that.
No, you're good. You're good on that. I mean, but the thing is like whether it's I think someone asked about the cadence. Um,
Oh, yeah.
Depends on what personas you're at, depends on your region. I mean, I tell people you should do 11 touch points in 20 days, but really what I'm seeing is that like people are not following up enough.
Yeah.
And you also have to set the expectation. You should set yourself the expectation that like people are busy and even if you send a really good message in the beginning, they could completely miss it because like maybe they just aren't seeing it. No, to agree. It could not be relevant. That's fine. But also, like, you just have to envision that, like, oh, this person just didn't even see what I said. Um, and so, like, I need to follow up, especially if you took the effort to do something. Like, if I made a video, it's like I'm gonna follow up at least twice in the LinkedIn inbox because I made an effort to do something, and I also like took the time to do it, and I also know it was relevant. Obviously, don't follow up if it was like AI slop, like that's obvious. But if you took the time to do like a video or voice note, like I feel like it's okay for me to follow up a couple times to see what's going on.
Yeah. I do like voice notes. And I think that goes back to what someone was saying earlier is like, it just feels awkward to do a video. If it's awkward to you, don't do it. Do something different.
Yeah.
And I had a thought and it completely went away from me. But, you know, it's so interesting. we were one of the first ones at Tableau to lock in on outreach in a pretty decent way. I think we might have been at the time one of the biggest opportunities for them. And they shared like most people are reaching out 5 times, and we have created and have the feedback that you have to reach out like 25 to 30 times. I could never get on board with that. And now I'm like, oh, if you reach out to me 30 times, like I'm going to actually block you. Like, please don't,
Yeah. Probably calling the cops. Like,
please don't do that.
crazy.
But I love, Morgan, what you said. Like, hey, if I do a video or a voice note, like I'm probably going to reach out, 2 or 3 times. Like that to me feels right. Don't do it the same day. Don't do it the day after. Like give people a little bit of a moment to, follow up. I love that I think it was a Monday note or a Friday note and you reached out on a Monday or Tuesday. Like that to me feels right. Um, because at the end of the day, man, you also are depending on the time of week, depending on the time of the quarter. You have to remember what people are going through. Like they're not looking for your email. You're hitting them probably in a time where they are busy with something else. If it's end of year, your executives are likely planning for next year. If it's the beginning of the year, they're likely planning for SCO. If it's product and they have a release coming up or they have a, calendar, they're probably going through a sprint. So be aware of those type of things too in your outreach. Like, hey, I'm sure you're in the middle of SCO or you just came back from SCO and you just need a moment to breathe. Or
Yeah.
we're on our way to, the summer and I'm sure you've got lots of plans coming up. Just even those tiny little moments where you're sharing that like, hey, I am aware that I'm reaching out to you in a time that's probably not convenient to you. That also builds trust and that does go a long way.
100%. And okay, so we have a couple of things going on here. I believe Steph's in here. He's on my team. Shout out to Steph. When you're asking about cold LinkedIn examples that work for me, I'll be transparent. Like a lot of stuff I'm doing is not like by product is not cold because I've created content for 10 years. So most people might know who I am. So like I may not be the best example, but I do have another example that I can share. I know that people ask for it and I will share it. But if you're looking for examples from other people, I would go watch Muffins with Morgan episode 1 and 2. Those are people who are actually in the trenches, sending out messages, sending out different things of that nature. They have the follow-up sequences, like it's all there. So the YouTube links will be put in here. If not, I'll put them in there. But yeah, that's what I would go watch, and it literally will answer your question, and you'll have more than enough information to know what to do with it. For people that saw episode 2 or 1, you can chime in and you can affirm to what I'm saying right now. In terms of I think of like being different, I think you just have to have the willingness to like just have fun with it and try and also try different stuff. Like
Yep.
next week, I'm about to try some like new stuff I haven't done before because I'm like, okay. But I don't know, it's just interesting. I feel like that's when I learned the most. Like I did the voice notes and videos because I realized like my old strategy wasn't working. And I was like, what do I do? And so I started setting videos and voice notes and it went crazy. So now I'm like, all right, like not a lot of people do them, but I think people are like, I'm so busy, I don't have time for this anymore, even though it's created. It's like, all right, cool. So then you have to go look at something different. I think that's the game though, is like continuously always trying out new things, always doing new stuff, and always being different. So I'll show this example and then we have 6 minutes left. We'll wrap up. And then if anyone has any lasting questions, now is the time to ask them. So this is one I also did on Monday. Again, I've been like testing out different times. And obviously you'll see here that this leads into what we're going to talk about, but just kind of,
Theory reason for the voice note is I wanted to switch it up here, do something different. As a sales development leader, I actually was doing some like research into what you're building right now. Looks like you just brought on 5 different sales development reps within your business. And typically when I see this, it means that your pipeline numbers have increased and you're probably trying to find creative ways to break into your accounts. I recently just worked with a team where they had these new reps in place. I walked them through my outbound system that we do in 45 days, and they were able to increase their response rates 30% across the campaigns. Curious to see if you'd be open to chatting about how we can potentially work together if that's interesting.
yeah,
What
I'm
I
just,
love about that is that you did some research that showed, hey, it looks like you just hired managers. Like that's your like your tell that you're not just coming in without any knowledge. And so a lot of people are just giving these like, flippant messages. And I love that in both of those messages, you shared that you did some research. Like you're not just willy-nilly reaching out to him for, no reason. That's that is, I think, also why I really love those messages. You're so real and honest, and you can hear it in your voice, but also, hey, I'm reaching out because I did some research and I'm seeing this thing and I think you might need me. Um, and that is being human again.
What it is. I'm just chopping it up. I treat it as I'm just like chopping it up. I think that's the gist that you'll see from me. Like I'm not like, hey, you have to meet with me. It's like, I mean, like I did some research. Like it's cool if you want to meet. Like also like it's also chill.
Yeah. But I also love what you shared earlier, and I want everyone in this call to like really sink this into their DNA, is that something you're doing today may not work tomorrow. And don't be one of those people that complain that it's just not working. And what we did, it just isn't working anymore. Like it drives me up the wall when sales teams or whoever it is, it could be even a leader. I don't care. But they'll be like, it's not strong enough. It's not working, or it's not this, that, or the other thing. And okay, what are you doing about it? Like, sure, maybe it is different. Um, it's just be creative, think outside the box, go start having conversations with, again, procurement, CPO. Hey, what were those sales calls that you actually took and why did you take them? Go have that conversation. I bet you'll actually have more people reaching out to you. And then you gain that information, you'll use it on the next conversation. And if you're asking that person, maybe you can switch them into a customer. And it's just, if you're getting stuck, like go ask the question, go be curious. Like if you can be curious and really a student of your own craft, that's actually what's going to help you be different, because most people are not students of sales and students of the craft. And the reason Morgan is so great at what he does is that even you and I chatted a few weeks ago, like, yeah, I'm trying all these new things because I just can't keep doing what I used to do. And instead of him being like, yeah, I don't like this isn't gonna work, for the long term, you're like, okay, I'm gonna try this, this, and this. It was wildly creative and outside the box. And you're likely A/B testing it to see what works and what doesn't. Um, go do like everybody on this call, go do that because it's going to change. Sales is changing faster than it ever has in the past. So don't
Yeah.
don't be lazy.
Don't be lazy is the sign off. But so we have 2 minutes left. Brittany, tell us where people can find you if they have more questions or they want to interact with you, engage with you.
Yeah, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Again, I'm Britni Borrelli. Go connect with me. I love connecting with people. You don't just have to follow, you can go connect. I can be a potential network warm connection for you in the future. Um, I am again the only Britni Borrelli. So wherever you find me, Instagram, which I hardly post anymore, but if you want to look at how awesome my amazing family is, go there or LinkedIn, and I do post relatively often there about my opinions, which sometimes can be pretty sharp. Maybe one of my favorite ones is stop checking in. Really, it drives me freaking nuts. I will immediately delete it. Uh, or that Salesforce is not the future of CRM. And I used to work for them. So, I get a little spicy on LinkedIn. So if you want some of that, come on over.
There you go. Y'all know what it is. Muffins of Morgan. We do this every week. Next week, we will not be going live on Friday. I'm actually going on family vacation, so I'll be in New York, seeing my brother. We're gonna go watch Broadway, all the fun stuff. And so, but on the 10th, April 10th, we're coming back. We're going to be covering Sales Navigator. So if you're looking to get better at that, that's what we're going to be covering, and you'll see all that in the emails. But as always, we do this. We do this on Fridays. As you see, we're getting tactical. We get in the weeds. My hope is that you walked away with one, two, or three things to think about differently or do differently moving forward, which is going to be obviously the key here. And as I've mentioned in the voice notes and everything else, if you are a seller, if you're a sales leader and you're like, I want to do these things more creatively, I want to stand out, I want to get more meetings, I want to be different. That's what we're doing over here at AMP Social with Sales Team 6. working with SDR and AE teams on a 4 to 5 day program, helping them break through the noise and through different meetings and stuff. So if that's interesting, hit me up on LinkedIn. Regardless, we will be back. Hope you all had a fantastic time, and we'll see you on the next one.